Greater in battle than the man who would conquer 1,000 men is he who would conquer just one, himself. Buddha Shakyamuni. There are places on this planet that have been filled with special energies for thousands of years. In those places you can learn the truth about your own nature much faster and, in this lifetime, find the way that will take you to self-realization. Mount Kailash, the wisdom of centuries. Our journey begins when our big and friendly group meet at the airport. There are some people we are meeting for the first time, others we have known for many years, and others we have known over many lifetimes. Even at our first meeting, you can feel the friendly and positive mindset of the group. When we arrive at Beijing Airport, we still have a several-hour layover before our next flights to the capital of Tibet, Lhasa, and so we decide not to waste our time and begin practicing by singing the mantra Om. Beijing, Shudu Airport. Flight from Beijing to Lhasa. Lhasa Gongya Airport. When practicing, time passes quickly and we soon find ourselves in glorious Lhasa. Our Tibetan guide picks us up and we head to Samye, the oldest monastery in Tibet. Samye Monastery. Over the first couple of days, we have to adapt to the new, much higher altitude. Although we have already reached the altitude of 3,500 meters, our group remains strong and resolute, and so we go to the morning service at the monastery the very next day. There, we find time for individual spiritual practice. Some read mantras, others do pranayama, while some simply watch the monks singing sutras. We then head on an excursion around the monastery, followed by the traditional practice of singing the mantra Om in one of the halls.
And bridge. He's also found it.
The first Buddhist monastery in Tibet was built around 1,300 years ago. There are several stories as to why Tisong Datsun asked Padmasambhava to participate in the construction of the monastery. When Tisong Datsun tried to spread Buddha's teaching throughout Tibet, he failed. He was then advised to invite Padmasambhava to help make this happen. Some people say, and I agree with them, that Padmasambhava was just an emanation of the Buddha Shakyamuni that came to this planet to preserve the way of self-perfection. Tibet was chosen consciously. It is the place that was prescribed to save many teachings for future generations. It was not easy to build Samye Monastery. That which people tried to build during the day, the demons would destroy overnight, and Padmasambhava was the one who used knowledge, and not force, to explain to the demons that it was better to cooperate than to oppose. There is a quote that comes from that time. It might be difficult to lift a large stone, but united, a few people can do it with ease. Padmasambhava. In the evening, we decide to go on a hike and climb up a little higher on a hill next to the monastery, from where there is a wonderful panoramic view of the monastery. Here, the group also gets a chance to practice pranayama and meditation. Altitude 3,700 meters. The next day we head to Lhasa and, on our way there, we visit one of Padmasambhava's caves in Chimpu, which allows us yet more practice before the Kora, and also a chance to practice yoga before the altitude becomes too high, and while the energies of the famous yogis and yoginis still facilitate our self-growth. All the places connected to Padmasambhava's life are marked with a special energy, and the places where he used to practice yoga became places for pilgrimage long ago. One such place is the Chimpu cave. You can even see an amazing imprint of Tisong Detsen's body that he left there. Lhasa. Dzogkang Monastery, and here we are in Lhasa, a wonderful, bright city. You can still see here some locals doing prostrations on the street right next to the Dzogkang temple. There is also the oldest statue of the Buddha, which was brought here from India as a part of a Chinese princess's dowry, and also an amazing statue of Tara, which is almost impossible to stop looking at. Standing next to it, you really feel like she is alive, and indeed is on her way to helping all living beings. The next day we visit Potala, the winter residence of the Dalai Lama, which is a museum in the summertime. In the morning and in the evening, the group practices yoga on the roof of the hotel. The altitude is still not that high, and so practice goes easily. I have known this city for 12 years, and I can certainly see some changes, but the temples here are simply full of that energy of self-perfection. The yogis have been maintaining and preserving the traditions of the ancients here for hundreds of years. Here in Potala, the energies of each and every Dalai Lama, the custodians of Buddha's teachings, have been preserved. Yangtze, Shigadze. Then our group heads to Shigadze. On the way there, we stop in a wonderful town, Yangtze, famous for its ancient monastery and stupa Kumbum, with its 108 rooms, each with their own unique Buddha statue. In this famous Kumbum stupa, there is a special room on the highest floor in which there are statues of Buddha and his students. All the statues are so artistically made that one can even tell the different nationalities of the students from their faces. There are students from Africa and some Scandinavians. Noticeable among the students is Arhat Vakula, whose name is still used in Ukraine today. On this basis, we can see how far the Buddha's teaching had been spread, and the ancient monasteries in Kalmykia and Buryatia in Russia are also testament to that. In the afternoon, we reach Shigadze. We check into a nice hotel and go on an excursion to the city's main monastery, Tashilhunpo. In this monastery, there is the biggest statue of Buddha Maitreya in the world. The road. Saga, Shigadze district. The old ruined monastery. We are getting closer and closer to Kailash, and the landscapes around us are getting more and more wonderful. We are traveling constantly, but thanks to the good organization of the trip, it goes smoothly, and we even have time to stop and enjoy the sights on our way. We see the road, the mountains, the steppes, the sky, the clouds, the sun, and the lakes. It's so wonderful. The members of the group really like the stops where they can chat, share their emotions and take pictures. Some more experienced yogis prefer not to spend their energy on chatting and for the duration of the trip maintain a vow of silence.
Buddham saranam gacchami dhammam Sangham Saranam Gacchami Buddham Saranam Gacchami Dhammam Saranam Gacchami Sangham Saranam
The hotel in Gugay. The Setledge River. Gugay. On one day, we visit the capital of the ancient kingdom of Gugay, located at an altitude of 3,500 meters above sea level. We visit many halls and rooms of the Saparang Temple and the ancient sand cities of Dungar and Puyang. The ruined library in the temple. A little bit of information about Gugay. The great number of caves around the monasteries tells us how many ancient ascetics practiced yoga here in solitude, as was prescribed by Buddha himself, to make the practice more effective and find the answers that are important for this incarnation. Garuda Valley. Once again, we are on our way to the holy mountain Kailash. On our way there, we visit the famous Garuda Valley, which impresses us with its wonderful sights. People say that Russian tourists like these places a lot for the bright and colorful pictures that can be taken here. However, the best pictures are not to be taken in the Garuda Valley. There are some ancient preserved manuscripts about this place, which say that the history here is not quite as happy as it is usually portrayed in the tourist advertisements. Here was situated one of the capitals of ancient Tibet, where the Bon religion dominated. The Bon religion was famous for its bloody rituals, and you can read more about it in a book called The 100,000 Songs of Milarepa, which gives a good account of that time. Manasarova. The next stop is Manasarova, the holy lake, the symbol of light. The altitude is now 4,500 meters above sea level. Some believe that if a woman goes into this lake, she will have a much better chance of giving birth to a highly spiritual child. According to one of the legends, when in Lumbini, Mahamaya gave birth to Buddha Shakyamuni, and the gods took her and her newborn child to this lake to wash his body. The distance between Lumbini and this lake is about 1,000 kilometers, but the gods can travel this distance in a moment. There is a chain of caves right nearby, in one of which Padmasambhava was practicing before leaving this world. It is a tradition of ours to practice here with our groups, because here one can quickly achieve a mystical spiritual experience. Kora. And here begins the Kora, the walk around the holy Mount Kailash. The altitude, 4,900 meters above sea level. Serlung Chu River. On the first day, we walk about 18 kilometers. Our first camp is located across the north side of Kailash. Some of the group decide to go and touch the northern side of Kailash. It's only about 300 meters walk, but it takes 3 to 4 hours, even for the experienced members of the group. When they return, their eyes shine as they share their emotions about how it felt to reach Kailash and actually touch it. Altitude 5,300 meters above sea level. Nikolai Rusakov. To be honest, you don't really feel a sense of time there. We had a goal and we kept going. We tried to go as a group and not to leave anyone behind. We had a leader and someone at the back. And so we reached Kailash as a group. We all took pictures there and touched it and felt the energy and power. At first I couldn't believe that I was here, and now I don't want to believe that I have to leave. The special places. Yes, of course, it's not easy to walk at such a high altitude, but the hard work that the members of the group put in here will pay off once they get back home. I don't like to talk about the mysticism of this place without any material proof, but the energies, the feelings, the thoughts, this is something that anyone can experience. Here, there are never any gloomy thoughts. The second day of Kora. On the second day, we walked 22 kilometers and crossed the Dronlala mountain pass, the mountain pass of Green Tara, which is the highest point of the journey at 5,600 meters above sea level. The walk over the mountain pass symbolizes a new birth and getting rid of your past karma. The mountain pass is not very easy for some of the group, but everyone tries their best and encourages each other. This mountain pass is a good self-challenge. And there you leave all your weaknesses, illnesses and bad moods. The bad energies that get in your way in your day-to-day life back home are unlikely to survive this mountain pass, and you walk down from here feeling like you've been reborn. On the third day, we walked 12 kilometers. After doing 22 kilometers yesterday, this seems like nothing for many of us. Once again, we take in the wonderful landscapes as we walk. Sometimes they look fantastic, unreal. And then, before we know it, the Kora is over. We head back to Darchen, where the participants, fresh and happy, continue chatting and sharing their emotions. One of our good friends who often travels with us keeps records on how the Kora affects the lives of the people that make the journey. He says that the majority of participants will experience new positive things in their life about half a year after doing the Kora. Kathmandu. And here we are in Great Kathmandu. The altitude here is about 1,300 meters above sea level. The participants, almost as if they had wings, all feel an emotional uplift. To conclude our journey, we hold a farewell meeting and share our thoughts and feelings. Many say that individual yoga practice feels different here, and that you always want to come back to places like this. The most memorable thing, of course, is the Kora around Kailash, but also the group discussions, lectures, talks, and the singing of the mantra Om. Everyone goes home looking forward to positive changes in their lives, with new thoughts and expectations. For me, as a yoga teacher with a quite intense practice, visiting these places and walking the Kora is a source of energy that gives me power and inspiration to realize new projects and plans, and to maintain my personal yoga practice at a good level. One may wonder, what relationship can Russians possibly have with Tibet? But, as we can see, the methods of self-perfection that have been preserved in Tibet were also very common in Russia at that time. The more we study this subject, the more proof we find of that. Yes, we now have different languages, and habits, and national holidays, etc. But the ornamental and elmer patterns, the solar signs, are the same and have not changed over thousands of years. Our countries are now very different to each other, but the methods of self-perfection are very similar. When learning about this country, we rediscover what we have forgotten about ourselves that will help us understand the world around us and help us find our way in it. If you have a chance to join a similar trip, do not miss that chance. We'll see you there.